Do you think Spain is about the culture, Gaudi, football, or food? The highlight of our trip was definitely the food. We landed in Barcelona from our redeye, kit-free and ready to spend 2 days sightseeing and eating our way around the city before boarding our Virgin Voyages cruise. After any redeye, I definitely recommend coffee. You could tell this was a local favorite, with excellent coffee and really well-labeled allergens in their pastry cabinet. Ooh, it was hot in there. I meant to order iced, but I forgot. I ordered almond and got oat. And I'm not sure if Oatly brand is gluten-free here because they had a different brand that specified gluten-free. But we both got Oatly, so we'll see how we feel.
From the Oatly website, when it comes to gluten, it depends on where you live. In the US, our products are made from certified gluten-free oats and consequently are labeled as gluten-free. In Europe and Asia, however, our products contain a small amount of gluten, less than 100 ppm milligrams per kilogram. So although that's not much gluten at all, they cannot, of course, be classified as completely gluten-free.
The thermostat inside that coffee shop said 86.
And that's Celsius.
How do we survive it? This is the peanut cookie.
Peanut
or cookie peanut, as they had it labeled. And gluten-free and dairy-free. Little peanuts on top. Little peanut. So that's real good.
Yeah, the peanut cookie, if you look at it and you're like, oh, this is going to be a dry, nutty, it's not. It's really yummy.
It doesn't look like the shape of peanut butter cookies I'm used to, but it has a similar flavor.
Yeah, totally.
It's good.
And not like overwhelmingly sugary sweet either.
I'm happy with my choice.
I'm happiest with my choice. Just like it wasn't your choice. The granola bar. Yeah. No honey because it was labeled vegan. So let's see. Very yummy. I like the sesame coming through. But the peanut is the winner for me.
And as an added kicker, it was a paper straw. We're not sure if that was a safe paper straw. I mean, the fact that they had a secondary oat milk there that specified gluten-free made me think that people who have celiac here know not to eat Oatly. But again, we're not as reactive as a celiac, so do I drink it? It's interesting when the brands that you depend on at home aren't the same in other places, which is part of why I asked for almond milk, but I still got Oatly. It's okay. All in all, we're off to a good start. Okay, we are out of the kind of touristy hub because we ate our cookies in the Placa de Catalunya, and it was a lot of touristy. There was double-decker buses and stuff like that. Now we're definitely in a more residential area. I feel like I should say that it's taking me a few minutes to get my sea legs. And by that I mean my gluten-free sea legs. Like figuring out how to navigate gluten-free in another country, use the right words, be bold enough to ask because I'm already a little shy because I don't speak the language. So I'm resolving to do better. And I don't want you to think that these videos are going to be us fudging the rules all day, every day. Look at this local art. So cute. So we're going to do better. It's my resolve. It's my promise to you. I'm not looking to teach you guys how to fudge things when you're traveling.
Unless we can find gluten-free, dairy-free fudge.
But all that to say, I'm gonna do better. And with that in mind, we're actually going to a grocery store. It was really easy, even as a non-Spanish speaker, to find all the labels that said sin gluten, without gluten.
Plus they're very prominent and they're right on the front.
And there's some that are without lactose as well. So we were able to find a lot of the labels. There were some things that didn't specify on the labels, like my kombucha didn't specify, but I was able to decipher all the ingredients. But we were looking at some different milk substitutes, and we saw that the rice milk and the almond milk
And the hazelnut milk. It's like drinking Nutella.
And they all said gluten-free and dairy-free.
But the oat milk did not.
Milk didn't say gluten-free, so we passed. We didn't get any snacks. We didn't get any wine. But if you are going on a ship out of Barcelona, the wine there is so cheap.
It's like...
It's wild.
It's like they're paying you to take it.
I'm not sure how good it is, but... Welcome to La Cucina de Laietana. Right across the street to Burger King, where they have the brutal Big Bang Burger and cheese bacon rings. America. I love the way Spanish food uses a lot of rich tomato flavors, kind of sweet, and adds in fish in a way that is just bright and very Mediterranean, but in a distinctly Spanish way. I'm gonna eat the skin on the cod, even though typically I take the skin off my fish, and Nick will probably take the skin off of his. But it adds an extra little fishiness to it that I actually think contributes to the flavor, and I like it. Look at these little microgreens on top. I know ratatouille is French. This is a Spanish dish. They made it in a very Spanish way. Nick makes this paella regularly at home, so is it as good as Nick's? That's the question. He thinks his is better. Yours has fish in it home, because we can use whatever firm fish we have in our diets. So this one is a veggie paella. So it's a little more neutral because it's veggie flavored, but it's very well developed. I like the rice texture in this one. So I feel like a day of airport snacks. It was kind of expected that I was gonna get here and my tummy was a little off, but honestly, this meal is making me feel a lot more human. I love that the menu marks what has gluten so well. It doesn't even say like, here are the 1 or 2 items without gluten. It says, we're gonna mark the things that you do have gluten, and you can have anything else that doesn't have that symbol. So that's exciting. This meal is fresh and super flavorful, and I'm just really grateful because it helps my body feel a lot better. It's clear that Barcelona has a long tradition of delicious cuisine, and we kept an eye out for other places that might work. We did come across some vegan restaurants. I think it's a very vegan-friendly city. But for our dinner, we were going to a 100% gluten-free restaurant. Restaurant on Ville has a fully gluten-free menu with some excellent allergen markings. The menu was incredibly helpful with multiple language translations and a full allergy chart in the back. Smoked salmon and dill with avocado and some salmon roe. The salmon roe makes it extra salmon-y. It's yummy and salty.
And come to mom.
How do you do it?
Bread, tomato, and you just rub the tomato on. I've put a little bit of garlic on top. Seems a little more effort than I would have expected, but that's okay. Drizzle of olive oil and some salt.
Thank you. Our last time in Barcelona was 12 years ago, and we had pan con tomate, which is bread with tomatoes, a few times. We never had to assemble it ourselves. It usually came pre-rubbed with the tomato, and the garlic was usually really roasted, so the cloves just kind of mushed into a spread. These were pretty hard. You had to kind of cut them with your butter knife, do some surgery at the table. They're really delicious, but they're some assembly required. Just super sweet, super fresh, because it's just a tomato rubbed on. And there's just a brightness to it that is very specific to me, to Spanish flavor. Gluten-free crostini. Patatas bravas. This is spicy and lactose-free sauce. And Nick got chicken croquettes. It's like a mayonnaise and a spicy, not like a hot sauce, closer to like a barbecue sauce. Tastes paprika, like smoky paprika.
I also didn't expect everything to come out all at once.
It's a lot of plates on the table.
Yeah, a lot of plates on the table.
The baked cod. So the cod was covered in a garlic aioli and then baked, so it kind of crusted over. Really interesting. That is just flavor packed. It's a little salty. But make sure you get the garlic aioli on top, because that just gives it layers on layers of flavor. Oh my gosh, that broth is so good.
So you don't eat escargot, or you haven't in a very long time, but the sauce that is in the base of the cod is very similar to that kind of like buttery, herby escargot sauce. But it's not butter.
I know I keep going on about these potatoes, but I think what it is that since going gluten and dairy free, there's so many of these kind of junk food, pub food, American appetizers, things like that we can't have anymore. Things that come with dipping cheese or special sauces, things that you would get off of an appetizer menu at a pub. They never ever are gluten and dairy free. But this, the aioli, is not egg free, but gluten and dairy free. And they lean very heavily into aiolis in Spanish food, and it's been delicious. For dairy-free desserts, they have both a lemon pie and a traditional Catalan creme brulee, and I'm shocked that neither of them contain soy. That's so exciting. We might have to get both. In my Spanish food lesson for absolute beginners, let's talk about what is tapas. Tapas is small plates that you share with the table. Last time we were here, a bartender explained to us that tapas was created when people would sit at the bar and flies were in the open air restaurants and bars, and they would try to get in your drink, and so the bartender would put a small plate on top of your drink to keep the flies out, and then they started putting a few olives on the plate so you'd have a little snacky or a few nuts, and that developed into a whole culture of making these small plates to go along with your drink and turning it into a whole meal that is today's tapas menu. And so we got mostly tapas. The cod dish was technically a main course that could have been for an individual, but most of the things we got, they just put in the middle of the table. They came out very quickly, and they are delicious usually, but they're kind of the signature food of Spain, or one of the signature foods. Tapas, paella, potato tortilla omelet for breakfast, sangria. Very egg forward, very tomato forward, very ham forward if you eat ham, and lots of good Spanish cheeses if you eat cheese. But even though we don't, we found lots of excellent options. So go have a proper tapas meal. You will fill up on these little bites very quickly.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. I'm so excited about this. Who did it better?
Who or who?
This restaurant or Disneyland? Blue Bayou.
I think that one had soy in it, though.
We had no way of knowing. We didn't ask. But it's still, I think our kids would still say it tastes like marshmallows. Because marshmallows are burnt sugar, and the flavor of this is the burnt sugar.
All that matters is the burnt sugar on top.
It's so good.
It's just, the cream is a vehicle for the burnt sugar.
Right. This one is a little runnier. It doesn't have as much of a custardiness to it, but it's still really delicious. Lemon pie.
I'm sure it's because of the meringue. I'm a sucker for a good meringue.
Everything about that
The fact that there's a gluten
is,
crust.
it's a really evenly composed lemon pie. Like sometimes the meringue takes over, sometimes it's super tart, sometimes it's so sweet, it's just cloying. This is really well balanced, and if you didn't tell me, I would not know it was gluten-free and dairy-free. That is excellent. That's everything you want an allergen-friendly dessert to be.
Yep.
It's perfectly balanced, and you don't know it's allergen-friendly, and it's really lovely. One more thing we have experienced on multiple visits to Barcelona is everything just takes place much later than we're used to in the States. Back home, we eat dinner around 7, and my family thinks that's crazy late for dinner. And we come here and make dinner reservations for 8 o'clock, 8:30, and the restaurants are always empty. And we think, oh no, we picked a bad restaurant, no one's here. And then around 9 o'clock, 9:30, the place is packed. So don't be surprised if everyone eats a really late dinner. Nightlife here is vibrant, and that's just the way things are. So don't be shocked.
Why don't you subscribe to the channel so you can continue with us on our whole European adventure?
Good morning, everybody. I think last night the lack of sleep and the terrible airplane food finally caught up to me, because I could not sleep and my tummy was so angry for a couple of hours. But eventually I did fall asleep. I got about, 4 or 5 hours last night. So hopefully today we're adjusting, and this is not going to be a habit on this trip. We're going to have a good vacation. And this morning we're going to have some nice tummy settling tea and go see a beautiful church. But I'm feeling a little scared to eat. I'm not going to make a habit of that. I'm not going to be one of those videos about me getting sick. So, let's go. Good morning, Barcelona. Nick made me tea.
It's not an auspicious morning.
I'm more mad about this than I was about Sagrada Familia, which is wild. Like, that's gaudy. But gluten-free cafe, gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free,
I'm okay with sugar.
soy-free, organic, closed. The downside of holiday weekends, when everything is a little chill, is that when it's chill, the places you want to go might be closed. I told you we were learning from our mistakes yesterday. We asked for gluten-free oat milk today. They didn't give us Oatly.
Janasana was a gluten-free dream come true, with empanadas and other Spanish classics, as well as pastries and croissants that tasted buttery, even though 2/3 of the menu was dairy-free, on top of the entire establishment being 100% gluten-free. We were thrilled. And the prices were surprisingly cheap. I wish I could get gluten-free prices like that in the US.
What's it look like inside?
I appreciate their use of salt.
Yeah? Good and salty. Veggies.
As we saw the sights of Barcelona throughout the rest of the day, which you can find on our next video, we kept some extra Janasana pastries with us and kept snacking as we went.
I could cry. It's been so long since I've had a chocolate croissant. Oh, don't lose them. We're talking about going to Paris soon, and I've actually been researching where can you get gluten-free croissants in Paris. And I have yet to find any that have a dairy-free option. So the fact that this is dairy-free and tastes so buttery is wild.
This is like real bread. This does not taste like gluten-free bread at all. That's why when we were in line, someone said, get the stick. They were right.
So good.
It was time to say goodbye to the beautiful Cotton House Hotel and head to the port to board our Virgin Voyages ship, where we continued the gluten-free, dairy-free dining. So be sure to follow along with us by subscribing, and we'll see you guys next time, travelers.